They won. The Yankees won. We're here. We're going to be celebrating this win and the Yankees moving on to the ALCS.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm one of your hosts, Stacey Sully. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. Download the app today and use code Locked On MLB to win $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. With me as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian.
Number 19, the 19th ALCS appearance by the Yankees. Unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to the channel or just subscribe to the show, whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, like our videos, hit the bell so you're notified when our videos go live. So obviously today's show is going to be all about Game 4 and the Yankees moving on to the ALCS and the fact that the Yankees don't know who they're playing yet because the other ALDS game went in an interesting direction. We'll talk about that later. But first, give it up for Gerrit Cole.
Yeah. I mean, this is the performance you signed him for. This is what you gave him $300 million for. In an elimination game, come out and, I mean, is there a better definition of a pitcher shoving than this? I mean, he was this is one of the best performances we've ever seen Gerrit Cole pitching Yankee uniform.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't an elimination game. It was a moving on game. Like, if they lost, they would have
the Royals, it was.
Well, for the Royals, yeah, but for the Yankees, it wasn't. But I joked on Twitter. I said, the Yankees do realize that if they lose this game, they're going to have to count on Carlos Rodon to win an elimination game. So let's just get this wrapped up. Let's just wrap this up, do it. But yeah, Cole was tremendous. I think it was hilarious that Tommy Pham kept getting hits off him. And he thought it was pretty funny, too, because he's just one of those guys where he's just like,
you can't get out.
Oh, well, okay, I can't get you out. Here we go. But things really could have fallen apart for Cole after the brouhaha that occurred, and it didn't. Thank goodness. The brouhaha, kerfuffle, the Donnybrook that happened at second base. But overall, Gerrit Cole was tremendous. Just a total bulldog. And I knew he was going to be fine because people were talking about the first game and how not Gerrit Cole like he was. And I said, he tends to do better when he has starts like that. He'll come out in his next start and just, figure out what he did wrong and fix things. You don't usually see back-to-back starts where Gerrit Cole struggles. So I had a feeling he was going to come out on Thursday and look like vintage Gerrit Cole.
There's something
very pleased with it.
There's something to him being in a rhythm too. Like the game 1 start, he hadn't pitched in 9 days. This one, he was on regular rest, normal routine for him. There's something to be said about that. I want to address this because I knew I was going to get called out for it. Brandon, I still wouldn't have started Gerrit Cole today, even though he was incredible. He was amazing. He could have done this performance in Game 5 also, or in Game 1 of an ALCS. So I still wouldn't have started Gerrit Cole. He won the game doesn't mean the opinion was necessarily wrong, or I take it back either. But Gerrit Cole was amazing. He was in bulldog mentality. You can tell because when they got into the brawl fight, whatever you want to call it, it was the most baseball fight you've ever seen in your life. But when they got into that brawl or fight or whatever you want to call it, Gerrit Cole was right in the middle of it. He was ready to go. He was ready to start throwing punches because he's just in that mode.
Yeah.
I would not have went to Clay Holmes in the 8th inning. I would have let Gerrit Cole pitch the 8th inning, or I would have had Holmes ready and put Gerrit Cole out there for the 8th inning. I don't understand. I still can't grasp the immediate rush to get guys out of the game.
I don't agree with it. He was starting to get hit. No, but he was starting to get hit a little bit, and I can understand why Boone in a 2-run game decided to do Holmes Weaver in the 8th. I actually agreed with that move. I thought it was a good move.
We have seen
I can't even believe I'm saying that. I can't believe I'm saying that.
We have seen Holmes a million times this year give up 2 runs in the matter of 2 batters.
As a closer. He's doing so much better. He's doing so much better as a setup guy right now. He really is. He's in his last how many outings? He hasn't done anything bad. He's fixed something with his Weaver fixed something with his grip, but Holmes also worked on something clearly because he looks like a completely different pitcher than how he looked during those few months that he was struggling.
I would have put Cole back out there at 86 pitches, and once he gave up a hitter or put a base runner on, then I would have brought the bullpen in. I wouldn't have just rushed to go to the bullpen and pull your Cy Young award winner ace pitcher. I didn't think it was necessary.
That was my thought. As John Duke said, you would rather have Holmes have a clean inning, which is
you trust Clay Holmes over Gerrit Cole?
In that situation, in a clean inning, yeah.
I don't. I still don't. With the way Gerrit Cole was pitching this entire game,
I don't know.
I would have absolutely
starting to get hit. No, I felt like that was the right move. I can't believe I'm agreeing with something that Aaron Boone did, but I agree with that move.
Regardless, Gerrit Cole went 7 innings. He was incredible.
Yep.
It was the most clutch start that he's had as a Yankee. And you can't ask for anything more than what he gave you. You really can't. And no, the wind was a good contributor. The MVP of the series was Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah.
And he deserves his credit. Another RBI tonight, which the one good point that Costas made throughout the entire series was when the infield of the Royals had to play in there, you can only imagine what's going through their heads playing in on Giancarlo Stanton at the plate. And then he rifled the ball at about 175 miles an hour through the middle of the field, drove the run in. Yeah. Aaron Judge had a double, so you got to feel good about that.
And he walked a couple times.
Glaber's been consistently awesome in the leadoff spot. Juan Soto's been Juan Soto. They overall had a very clean series, other than the loss in game 2. They had a very clean series, very well played series, and just get yourselves ready for Detroit or Cleveland. You got lucky that both those teams are now going to a game 5.
Yes. Yeah. So what I don't like is it looks like Judge was starting to fix things, and now we have to wait till Monday, so he has more time off, which doesn't help him. But it's good for the bullpen arms to get some rest. And I know that Nestor was throwing, I believe, today to see if he could possibly contribute in the ALCS. But the start of the game, I have to say, I was impressed with Gleyber and I was impressed with Soto because they scored that run within like 3 seconds. Like you blinked and all of a sudden the Yankees were up by 1 and they needed to do that. And I know it was only 1 run, but even just doing 1 run for Cole was a big thing for them to do.
It has a lot to do with, we've mentioned this before the series started, a lot to do with the experience coming in for them and the been there, done that mentality of the Yankees. Like they've played in these big games before. They've played in elimination games for the other team. They've advanced in series before. They understand the importance of coming out and punching a team in the face in the first inning and going up 1-0 before the other team even gets to bat. It's deflating. When the opposing crowd in Kansas City is going crazy, looking for a win, the Royals are hyped up. You punch them right in the nose to start the inning off, and they immediately there's a deflation. It's something a young and dumb team like Detroit wasn't able to do. And didn't understand the concept because Cleveland scored first in that game. The experience of being able to get things done like that early on in the game means so much, and the Yankees showed it. They're gonna have to keep doing that, and you get really lucky, like I mentioned, by Detroit and Cleveland playing at a game 5, because now Skubal has to go in game 5 for Detroit, and now he can have max pitch in 2 games for the Tigers in the ALCS.
Yeah, and let's hear it for the Yankees, the first #1 seed to move on. Because the Dodgers are going to be in a game 5 and the Guardians are going to be in a game 5. Now let's quickly talk about the brouhaha, because leading into the brouhaha, what a play by John Birdie at first, who's barely played at first base, to turn that play. Like that was amazing to get the ball to Volpe.
And I had no problem with Volpe's tag, which it seemed like the runner did. I think Volpe kept his glove on him, and then when the runner overslid the base, I don't think Volpe knew whether or not he fully got the tag down before the runner was safe. Right. So once he was off the base, he continued the tag like we're all taught in Little League.
Right.
Continue the tag and keep the tag on the runner until the runner is called out. He did that, and then the runner didn't like that. I think Jazz was defending his teammate, which is what you want to see out of that. And again, Gerrit Cole was ready to get right in the middle of it, which, just kind of showed Gerrit Cole's bulldog mentality in this game of he wasn't putting up with nothing. Head down, he was right. He was ready to go fisticuffs right there at that moment.
Yeah.
And you like that. The whole team was involved. I think the clearing of the bullpens and the benches was a little
much.
Yeah. But you know what? That's baseball sometimes. That's baseball, Susan. They got the win. That's what's important. And I do like how they celebrated afterwards. And I know they're going crazy in the clubhouse right now. But they celebrated on the field afterwards, but it wasn't this, oh my God, feeling we've never done this before. It was a very business-like celebration. They seem like they're on a mission, right? No crazy out of this world celebration. No. They're here for a bigger cause, and I like to see that.
I will say this: Tipping Pitches, which is a podcast, they quote tweeted the video of the benches clearing, and they said, not to defend a Yankee, but going in for a takeout slide and then getting mad when you receive contact on the tag is loser energy.
Yes. And he slid very late.
Right. He slid literally at the last second. So why are you getting mad? Like, come on. And, he was the one that tweeted about Rodon and how Rodon came out and was making a big deal, and then they scored on him. And he was talking some trash. Massey said some stuff before the game about, being ready for Saturday as if they were going to win the game. And what did Massey do all game? Cole struck him out twice. So I kind of like that the Yankees didn't have any of this bite them in the butt, because that tends to happen with them sometimes. But I would just tell you guys right now, you're everydayers. You watch the show, you listen to the show, you know that when I have my feelings, I'm usually right. I had my nervous feeling all day again today, and I was like, they're going to win. It's going to be scary, but they're going to win. And one quick thing, Luke Weaver. I mean, my God, we'll talk about him in the next segment too, because he had an interesting quote that I want to bring up. But I feel so confident when Luke Weaver comes in. Luke Weaver? If you told me even like a month ago that Luke Weaver was going to close out the ALDS and help send the Yankees to the ALCS, I would have been like, okay, sure. Whatever you say, crazy person. And here he is. He fixed the grip on one of his pitches. What did they say on the broadcast? I can't remember. And he just makes people look silly. Mm-hmm. He made Sal Perez look silly.
Yeah, his stuff's ridiculous. Especially the fastball combination with the changeup that he has, and that changeup it's got it very much.
I think it was the changeup grip. Yeah,
it very much reminds me of Kodai Senga's ghost fork pitch, where it kind of just disappears. Yeah. It's a very effective pitch, especially followed by his fastball. He's a gem that they found out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's incredible what he's done and what they've done with him.
And he always likes.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Actually, I don't have. Well, we'll talk about it in the next section. I don't have the quote handy right now, but he had some interesting things to say about his position as the closer. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about that in segment 2. First, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notifications so you know when our videos go up. We didn't do Fan Mail Friday, obviously, because we're celebrating the Yankees moving on to the ALCS. Programming note, we probably won't do Fan Mail Friday until their playoff run is over. So just keep that in mind. But normally, Monday through Thursday, if you leave a question for Fan Mail Friday, we will answer them on the Fan Mail Friday show. Or you can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. I sent out the lineup. I saw some reactions to the game in there. You can text us. We'll text you things. There's a 14-day free trial. So coming up next, more about this incredible closing game of the series. I did it again. There we go. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.5% APY on uninvested cash, receive unlimited 1% deposit bonuses, and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on an IRA account. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rates may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. Don't forget, you can catch every pitch of the Yankees' hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. There we go. We're back. So Luke Weaver, they were talking to him about his role, and he said he doesn't really consider himself the closer. Like, he doesn't go out there with that. Like, he just wants to get people out. Like, he doesn't put the pressure on himself to say he's the closer and he's closing the game. He's just going in there and trying to get people out. And I kind of like that mentality.
It might be a good mindset for him to have, and just like for him not to apply pressure onto himself.
Yeah.
Where he just looks at it as, I'm just going to go out there and pitch and whatever they ask upon me. But he is the closer. He has become the closer. He's been that good. Whether he wants to admit it or not is totally fine by me. He's got this level of energy and this stoicness to him where he don't care out there. He just goes out there and pitches. He kind of gives you that same kind of attitude and feeling when he's out there every single time, where he doesn't care. He's very stoic, and he kind of only lets his emotions out when the game is over. And you saw it in this game. As soon as the last out was made by Judge in center field, Weaver had this massive, like, flexing of the muscles, veins popping out of his neck. He was super excited. But again, the way the team handled the celebration, I think, was really telling too, where this was not a young team that was, celebrating for the first time of advancing, everything that they didn't view this as impressive to themselves at all. It felt like they viewed this as we were supposed to do this. Let's move on to the next round. Which is a good sign. You want them to have that mindset.
Yeah. This is the quote. I found it. He said, "I don't think I'm a closer. I think I'm a guy who is doing that situation, but I feel like at any point could be put in the situation to try to get some outs somewhere else. I'm just a man on a mission." So
whatever helps you sleep at night, but you're the closer.
Yeah. I will say, someone pointed it out during the game, but when he was pitching to Sal Perez looks so much bigger than him, because, Luke Weaver is just a very slight looking guy, like very wiry, and Sal Perez is not. And it just, that angle of the pitcher throwing to the batter made Weaver look so small. It was amazing. And then he did what he did. And
it's the beauty of baseball, right? How a guy that's the stature of Luke Weaver can strike out a guy that's the stature of Salvador Perez. Right. And it's not weird. It's like that's just how the sport works.
That's how baseball is. Yeah. I mean, look at Pedro Martinez. He was not big. He was not a big guy, and he was striking out big dudes in the 90s.
He is now.
Well, yeah, but when he was playing, he was slight. Toward the end of his career, he gained a little weight, but during his heyday, he was not a big dude at all.
I was more talking about his now day. But is this the rest of this playoff run? I believe that there's no more TBS, right? It's all on Fox from now on.
No, FS1.
The ALCS is on TBS, actually.
No, is it?
Yeah. I don't know if it's Costas, though. I don't think so.
I know, because he
did do like a goodbye soliloquy at the end of the
yes, he did do a soliloquy there, among others.
It sounded like he was retiring for a little bit, and I think that's what my head went to. Is he finally calling it quits after another straight year of people complaining about his broadcast? Yeah. I don't think that's what he was doing, because if you're him, why retire at this point? You're like 83 years old. But it was, I don't know if he's actually 83, but he's
no, he's
up
not.
there.
But he's yeah.
It was another broadcast of what are we, the ball that Gerrit Cole gave up to end the 7th inning, which was a bomb back to the track that Soto kind of, if you watch Soto on the play, Soto knew it wasn't gone. He lined it up perfectly. He was able to get the out. Stacey, if you listen to the call again, Bob Costas reacts like the ball got hit 900 feet.
Yeah.
It can't be happening. It was just,
But it's not just that. The camera work is terrible. It's as if
the broadcast
TBS,
itself is just not good.
But it's been happening all series. It's as if they've never done a baseball broadcast. There's the word I'm looking for. And
they have it all year.
No, but it's unbelievable to me. They do the playoffs every year. How do you not get guys who work for, get local dudes who are not working anymore because their teams aren't in the playoffs? They can do the camera work. They know how to. It's like I'm behind the camera with my one working eye. Like, I don't understand what is happening. It's awful. It was awful all series.
It's not a good broadcast.
Having to listen to him blather on. I know Michael Kay was defending him on his show because he's an old school broadcaster, blah, blah, blah. But
I get what Michael Kay was saying in his thing. And that did make the rounds today of the Kay show thing. Kay was more defending Costas for his legacy. And I get that. But of course. And he is one of the more accomplished broadcasters of all time. No one's taking that away from him.
No.
At a certain point, you aren't good at the job anymore. As so horrible as that is to say, you're just because you're great at something at one point in life does not mean you continuously get to be rewarded as great throughout the rest of your life. That's not how it works.
Or maybe Costas should do more regular season games where he can blather on, because this is a playoff game. Teams are playing for their future, right? And the Royals were about to be eliminated, and we have to hear about Bob Costas talking about whatever he was talking about. And we're also in the age of they have to have mid-game interviews. Like we didn't see George Brett tonight, right?
No, they actually didn't do one tonight. But regardless, the one the other night was nonsensical. Made absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
That I don't get. The production element of the whole broadcast is terrible, and I think it is bad to have a TV network attached to this that doesn't broadcast games all year. Like, it's not like TBS has the Sunday night baseball contract and they do a game. Weirdly enough, ESPN, who has Sunday night baseball, doesn't have a playoff broadcast. That make sense. They're doing broadcasts all year. It makes absolutely no sense. I can't grasp it. It's just sometimes things pass you by. No one's saying Bob Costas is not a good broadcaster. No one's not saying he's a legend of the game. He is, in his own right, but he's not, at the level anymore where he should be doing this anymore. And I mean, every year it gets complained about, and TBS seemingly continues to do nothing about it because he's Bob Costas.
Right. He's 72, by the way. He turned 72 in March, and he is sort of like me. He's Irish and Greek. I'm Irish, Italian, and Greek. Close. So, because his name is Robert Quinlan Costas. I'm like, oh, okay, so he's part Irish. I didn't realize that. Because I'd never looked anything up about Bob Costas, really, I don't think. So yeah, TBS needs to get better with the camera work. They need to put better people in the booth. But it's like this throughout the entire playoffs because AJ Przinsky is another guy that doesn't shut up in the booth. And at least the Met broadcast has been terrific, though. They've had a bunch of big moments, but when Lindor hits the grand slam, the play-by-play guy goes wild, which is what you want. Right. I don't picture Bob Costas doing that if there's a big moment. Costas, the call that he made to end the game on Wednesday was so funny because he's just like, oh, okay, well, that'll do it. It's so, like you can't. I don't know. Someone superimposed that over the Yankees last winning the World Series, and it's a ground ball to second, and there you go. Yeah, and that'll do it. And I was like, oh my god. And then someone I know thought that was real because she was really sick during the World Series in 2009, and she didn't really remember a lot. And she's like, wait, did he call that? I'm like, no, that was a joke. It was Joe Buck, and Joe Buck was actually kind of excited when when the Yankees won that game.
It's another. I mean, at the end of the day, though, this is Major League Baseball's fault because, again, you're having a TV network that has no rights to baseball games other than playoff games call the biggest games of the year as their first games they've broadcast all year. Make it make sense.
Which is why the camera work is so shoddy.
Yep. Make it make sense.
Coming up next, Tigers Guardians, because they're the ones that are playing, that the Yankees are going to be playing in the ALCS. We still don't know who, but the Guardians punched back. So we're going to talk about that next.
What's up, guys? I'm here to tell you about PrizePicks. PrizePicks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports, and unlike other apps, on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. Want to play PrizePicks alongside Drewski, Joe Budden, and MMA champ Sugar Sean O'Malley? You can now find community plays under the promos tab of the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in the PrizePicks community each week. PrizePicks puts their members first, so with all withdrawals, they're fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. And now you can bet anything you want on PrizePicks, right? Basketball's around the corner. WNBA finals are on. NBA is getting ready to get going. NHL just got going this week. There is so much to bet, and it's all available on PrizePicks. So here's what you got to do. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code Locked On MLB to get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code Locked On MLB on PrizePicks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. And Locked On Yankees is also brought to you by, well, you can also find every pitch of the Yankees hometown broadcast with SiriusXM. Just download the SXM app and search the word Yankees. So, Stacey, if you weren't able to catch the end of Tigers Guardians because MLB did such a wonderful job staggering the playoff games, we're here to let you know that the Tigers lost their game. They will be going to Game 5 in Cleveland for Saturday afternoon. Or I guess they're moving that game to Saturday night because the Yankees aren't playing Saturday night. Right. Tarek Skubal will be on the mound for the Detroit Tigers, so we'll see how that'll go. The Guardians blew up in this game, and then Tigers came crawling back and really had an answer for them all game, got it to within 1 run in the 9th, and then the Guardians were able to close it off. It really was a miraculous game to watch only because the Tigers did everything to come back in this game, and they are clearly a fighting team. I still think they're winning Game 5. I do. Between the combination of Skubal and how much their offense has been able to answer, I think Cleveland's going to struggle in this game.
Yeah, this was the first game that wasn't a shutout.
Yeah. They
both scored. I don't think I watched any part of the game. I was too nervous about the Yankees, even though like I said, I had that nervous feeling, which meant they were going to win, but I was still too nervous to watch anything. So I didn't really watch. I was keeping track on social media and seeing like the lead changes and all the stuff that was going on. And, but yeah, I think it's interesting because them going with Skubal in Game 5 screws them up if they make the ALCS because they'll probably, they might have to do
the Yankees.
A bullpen game in Game 1, which, could screw with the Yankees too, but it's just, you would much rather have your, future Cy Young winner starting the first game of the ALCS. So
another thing of note here too, if it winds up being Cleveland, the Yankees play, Emmanuel Clase, another run given up in the 9th inning, a guy who was unhittable in the regular season, again give up a run to the Tigers, who aren't necessarily this prolific offense and have tapped him now twice. He's had trouble closing out games in the postseason. Maybe it's the moment for him. Maybe the Tigers just had that magic going on. But it really has been something. This has been a really entertaining series. It's been very lopsided, but whoever wins the game seems to be this is the first really competitive win that either team has had.
Yeah.
I like the Tigers in Game 5. I really do. I just think they're going to win this series.
Yeah, it's going to be, I'm actually happy to be watching a game that's stress-free on Saturday. And I'm
Oh
happy to
yeah.
be watching Dodgers Padres too, coming up later, because that'll
The
be
Dodgers have,
something.
speaking of that game, the Dodgers are heavy favorites in the game, but they have no starting pitcher announced for that game. The
Mm.
Padres will start Yu Darvish, who was amazing in his one start. Dylan Cease, if the Padres advance, is going to be a problem because he can't get any outs and he hasn't been good all playoffs. The Dodgers, we'll see who they start. I'll tell you this. I like San Diego. I think they're better, more rounded, and I think the Dodgers have a little bit too much going on injury wise.
Yeah, they have a lot of injuries going on.
It just doesn't feel like their year. And we'll see what winds up happening in this game. It's going to be a really tough game for them to win, even though they're favored in this game. I like San Diego. I do.
Yeah, I do too. I'm actually really looking forward to watching that game too. Again, I don't have a horse in that race either.
No, you can just sit down on a Friday night and enjoy the game.
Yeah, like that's nice. I like
Yeah.
that. It's very enjoyable. Although, I will say with the Yankees not making the playoffs last season, I had all those different like wild card series to watch, and it was fun rooting for Toronto to get swept, rooting for the Orioles to get swept, and the year before that, when the Yankees were actually in, rooting for the Rays to get swept. Like, like especially when rivals are playing, it's a lot of fun to watch that. And I, know what it's like to be a hater because people do it for the Yankees too. So I just enjoy doing that for the playoffs. Yeah. Okay. See, I was on Locked On Sports today, and I'll be on there tomorrow. And Peter brought up the possibility, the host of a Subway series. Debbie says, please, no Subway series again. Once was enough for me. Thank you. Same. I know everyone wants it, but I do not.
I don't think Major League Baseball's dying for either. I think it's a purely New York thing. Yeah. To me, I think Major League Baseball thinks it's worse for the sport because the rest of the country doesn't care.
No.
Like it's New York that's going to care. The rest of the country doesn't care. I'm not of appetite for either. If they wind up playing the Mets, wonderful. I don't care. Like I don't care who it winds up being. I think it's worse if it's the Mets because you won't hear the end of it from people that are Mets fans.
Oh yeah.
Even though it'll be 1-1 all time in the Subway Series matchups, you'll never hear the end of it. Yeah. You'll never hear the end of it. Yeah. And I honestly feel this way. I don't care. Like I want them to get to the World Series. I don't care who they play. Right. Will it be entertaining and interesting? Sure. It'll be really fun, really interesting. I want them to win a World Series no matter who they play. Doesn't matter to me who it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I see this a lot.
They're rooting for LA. They're rooting for Dodgers, Yankees. That's who Major League Baseball wants.
Yeah. Definly. I don't
Regardless, the Yankees have no excuse.
I just would like the Yankees to make the World Series. Make the World Series so we can stop hearing about they haven't made a World Series in 15 years. So let's just end that, please, because it's so annoying. They mention it every single game. It's like, okay,
they have to make it. They have to make it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. No matter who they play, if they play Detroit or Cleveland, they're better than both. Definitively better than both. They have to go ahead and win it.
Now, here's a question for you.
Sure.
The Mets will be waiting just a little bit. They have a few days off here waiting for their opponent. Do you think that does anything? Do you think it hurts them, or will they be fine?
I think it hurts the Mets more than the Yankees because it's not like the Yankees were really like rolling. They kind of just beat the Royals in these games. They weren't rolling.
Right.
I think it hurts the Mets. It does kill their momentum they had going a little bit. Does it kill them? I wouldn't necessarily say that.
Right.
They're playing with a lot of energy and gravitas, but I do think there's something to that Atlanta series on Monday, going straight into the Brewers series on Tuesday, going straight into the Phillies series. There's something to that.
Yeah.
But I think the Mets could use these days off. They have also not had a day off in forever.
Right. But when do you really have a lot of days off in the baseball season? The baseball season is truly ridiculous how long it is.
Yeah.
Like when you think about how much they play. And, as a fan, it seems long. But when you cover a team like we do and do podcasts 5 days a week, you realize how long the season is. And you just think to yourself, wow. Like you think about what the beat writers do all year, and it's just incredible.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
You need your time off. It's a lot.
Yeah. So I'm just happy the Yankees won. I really am, especially because, Kansas City fans were getting lippy on Twitter. I follow a few, and I was just sitting back. I don't trash talk. I learned my lesson 20 years ago. I don't trash talk before things are over. But once that last out happened, I said, boo yourselves home. Have fun with that. Good series for the Yankees. Could have been better. A lot of times they could have scored more runs, but I'm just so impressed with the pitching, honestly.
Yeah,
in this last
it's been
game.
great. The starting pitching has been wonderful. I wonder when Luis Gil gets to start too.
Mm.
Because I'm excited to see him in a playoff game. He didn't make an appearance in this series.
Right.
Also, no Jason Dominguez. And if we want to give the Yankees some credit, we should. They made the right call on who to play in left field. Now, there's no guarantee that Dominguez wouldn't have also hit in this series. So let's not say that. But Verdugo played well enough. He did. Made a couple nice plays in the field. He really did. He played a really nice play in the field tonight on a line drive that was kind of like swerving to his left, and I'm not sure Dominguez makes that play. Started off the series really well with the bat, then cooled off. But overall, had a couple RBI hits, played well in the field. They made the right call on Verdugo, I think.
I'm sick of Verdugo, and I would like him to not play anymore. I'm sick of him grounding out to the right side. I'm sick and tired of it.
Hasn't been a great player. I'd agree with you. But I don't think that he was
that at bat in game 3, Volpe and Cabrera work walks, and then he swings it. I'm still mad about that. That's one of my biggest pet peeves in baseball, aside from the pitcher going from 0-2 to a walk or 0-2 to like a double or something like that. The guy that comes up after watching his teammates work really good at bats and get on base and then grounds out to end an inning. Like, what are you doing? Like, play smarter.
I think he played well enough. I don't think you expect him to be a superstar at all, but I don't know if Dominguez was going to play better. And there were tough plays in the field that Verdugo made in this series that, again, I'm not sure Dominguez makes.
Yeah, but left field in Kansas City is different than left field in Yankee Stadium. Yankee Stadium is notoriously a tough left field.
Yeah, I'm aware. I just think I don't think he was as much of a butcher as everyone assumed that he was going to be in this series.
Wait, what did I nail?
The Verdugo opinion.
Okay, I'm like, wait, what did I nail? Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. His defense, yay. But I'm just sick of seeing him bat. I wish they would come up with a rule where one guy can play defense and the other one can bat. Like Stanton could be his batter and then Verdugo could play the field. Like Stanton could have a pinch runner. Although, hey, he made it to second on that one ball and then he stole the base the other night. So
he's actually running pretty fine in this series. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. There was that one play that he was on second and he didn't tag up, and Costas and Darling were saying like, oh, we should have. I'm like,
Costas eviscerated him for it.
I'm like, no, he's their best hitter right now in the playoffs. You don't want him to do anything to his calves or his thighs or anything. No, stay on second.
That's a point that we should bring up too. How do you all now feel about the play in game 1 where he didn't round third and go home and possibly tear his calf in half? Right. He wound up being the reason they won the series. Let's be true. I mean, Gerrit Cole was unbelievable. Luke Weaver was unbelievable. Stanton was their best hitter.
He won the game on Wednesday. He was their
MVP. He was their MVP in this series. And got to give credit where credit's due. If he rounds that base in game 1 and tears his calf in half, he's not available for the rest of the playoffs. And he was their best player. They might not win the series without him. So they know that Stanton can't run. It wasn't worth scoring that run there and having him destroy his leg and lose him for the rest of the playoffs. So they made the right call. And just we said this when this happened, and we're going to say it again. Let's relax when we immediately go to kill Stanton on plays like that. We know what he is. We've been watching him all year. Let's not act surprised when he doesn't score on a ground ball on a base hit like that.
Right. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. We have 151 in here because we're celebrating. The Yankees made the ALCS. Hallelujah. They're doing what they should be doing. They were the number 1 seed in the AL. They were the best team in the AL. They should be in the ALCS because that's how the playoffs should work. But, sometimes they don't. So thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. Now go check out the Locked On MLB podcast. Prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully, who has it all covered for you every single day. The link is in the description for Locked On MLB, and you don't need to search for it. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And make sure you check out the Locked On Yankees postcast right here on the Locked On Yankees podcast feed, as well as streaming on the Locked On Sports New York YouTube channel. Get rapid reaction to all the biggest moments with the Locked On Yankees postcast. So that'll do it for this live edition of Locked On Yankees. We will see you next week for the preview for the ALCS, because we'll know who they're playing. So thank you for joining us. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll see you for the ALCS.
Yay!